Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for taking some time of your busy day to join us today for this webinar. We're always so excited to work with IHOP and have this time to share some of our more of our partnership and our products. So the agenda for today is we'll do quick intros. I'll take the time to, set the stage a little bit, do an overview. We have Brianna, product expert, who will go through the actual product with you today, two of our core products. And we will have time to wrap up and have some Q&A at the end. Okay, so my name is Diogo. I'm an enterprise account executive on the sales team for R365. I have been involved with restaurant technology and software for almost 5 years now. And my dad's a chef. I grew up in and out of restaurants, and I do love food. So being able to sell software that supports the restaurant operator to keep feeding us yummy food is always a very gratifying thing. And so excited to be here today and share additional findings with you.
Yeah, pleasure to be speaking to everyone as well. My name is Brianna Castellano, Solutions Engineer here at Restaurant365. I have had the opportunity to work with the company for about 6 years, going on this year, and specifically with IHOP for the past 2 years. Prior to that, I have around 6 years in the hospitality space, specifically in full service concepts before joining R365. But I'm very excited to be speaking to you all today, looking at the attendee list. I've had the opportunity to meet a lot of you in person, so again, appreciate you joining today.
Phenomenal. Well, to get things started, uh, this next photo is going to really highlight the current state of the restaurateur, or at least the majority of them, right? Technology is obviously here to help us and to be more efficient. There's going to be more and more technology as time goes on. But what happens is a restaurateur pinpoints an issue and implements a technology to solve it. But then you end up having this teetering tower of a tech stack of disjointed systems that ends up creating problems in and of itself. And that's where Restaurant 365 comes in. We are a true all-in-one restaurant management solution that is restaurant specific. So not only are we all in one and actually tackle a lot of different areas of the business, we are restaurant specific, which you'll find to be a huge advantage when it comes to solving problems that only restaurateurs really deal with on a daily basis. And on top of that, we already work with tons of restaurants. Over 50,000 restaurants trust us to run their business. Specifically, IHOP, we're at hundreds of restaurants and growing every single day. And so we're able to gain that experience from across the nation, all sorts of different types of brands, from quick service to fine dining, and be able to continually offer products that solve real day issues for the restaurateur. And just like Brianna said, a lot of the people that I work with here at 365 were operators. They were district managers and CFOs. So when you combine people that actually have lived the day-to-day struggles with software that is incredibly niche down for the restaurateur, it really creates a best-in-class system that will impact your bottom line, which is the goal at the end of the day, right? And so today, what we're going to focus on is going to be accounting and operations, and how these two systems, when you have them fully integrated and under one umbrella, how powerful it is. Everything that happens in the back of house has an accounting implication, and many times you're working off of different systems that aren't talking to each other, and it leaves a lot of errors, a lot of issues. And so streamlining these two sides of the coin is going to give you essentially the best bang for your buck. And we're really able to accomplish that through integrations. Uh, you know, Restaurant 365 is not going to be able to offer 100% of everything that you do, right? From POS, your bank, you're going to have to work with vendors. And so integrations is key in this area. We integrate with over 120 different POSs. It seems like every day I hear about a new one, but we're able to bring in those sales tickets, those labor punches, and be able to automate those daily journal entries for you. We integrate with your banks, all major banks, a lot of regional ones too, so I can simplify your bank reconciliation so you can see all dollars in and out. And of course, your vendors and all of your expenses, you get a lot of those invoices every single day. So we're able to fully integrate with broadline vendors like Cisco or Gordon Foods or wherever you're sourcing your products from, and get line item detail directly in your financials. So essentially with 365, you can spin up a P&L on a daily basis if need be. And that makes you a more proactive operator. You put this in the hands of a savvy operator, and they're able to catch on to issues way before, versus somebody who's waiting, 2 to 3 weeks after the close of the period, and then they're being reactive with their business. So again, impacts that bottom line. So without further ado, I'll hand this over to Brianna, who will actually, pull back the curtain and actually show you how these two systems working hand in hand is going to maximize the ROI for you today.
Excellent. Well, thank you for that introduction, Diogo. For today, I will be doing more of a presentation, but more so wanted to showcase, before we get to that point, that we did put together a few slides as more of a follow-up of what I'm going to be speaking through today, and just click through a few of those samples. But again, I will be doing a demo of, again, some of the features of the tool, some of the advancements that we have made with our relationship with Tray, and just other components of the platform that can be beneficial to the business. Diogo, can you confirm that you're still able to see my screen before I move on?
Yep, clear as
Excellent.
day.
So what we're looking at, and again, as I described, we'll be walking through Restaurant 365. As Diogo mentioned, part of our solution is being able to offer an all-in-one. So specifically, this view here will be more showcasing the operations view, but again, we will have the ability to incorporate operations and accounting within a single database. Now, this allows us to unify all legal entities and stores within a single platform. And then those of you who are considering the IHOP, Applebee's dual branded locations, or maybe expanding into different brands as well, we have the opportunity to again unify all of the brands and outlets within the organization into a single software. Now, some of the advancements that we've made through working with existing IHOP clients is the ability to offer a tailored task list that is designed to take the physical red book that needs to be filled out on a daily basis, digitizing that into what we reference as task management or my tasks. So again, thinking of operating in optimal operational efficiency, ways that we can ensure that every store is following that procedure of filling out the red book, but making it in a more easy to use format in what we're seeing here. So we've taken again that daily red book, created our AM versus our PM shifts, but made it in a way that is easy for the operator to, for example, say they are going in and finalizing their PM inspection checklist. This will actually take them to the digital form that they can fill out, whether we are looking at this on the web app, on the mobile phone. All of this again will tie to being able to utilize that task list again from a more mobile approach and making that more efficient for the teams to complete. Now, this is something that again we've worked with IHOP to replicate, so we already have the templates utilized from Redbook and can implement those for anyone who is interested in having that task management in that digital format within your database as well. Now, outside of being able to have the daily tasks, thinking of the first integration that Diogo described with Tray. With Tray in particular, we have a great partnership and continue to build on that relationship as updates are being made, but that allows us to pull in sales ticket level detail to give you a summary level of net sales. We'll be able to compare that against our forecast, which we'll touch on in a little bit, and also the ability to incorporate labor, which will tie into our scheduling module. In this case, we're looking at total labor hours as it compares to scheduled labor hours, and then lastly, looking at our deposit here. So that first fundamental integration with the point of sale will allow us at a summary level from an operations standpoint to provide this information and get you to the point of real-time reporting from a financial standpoint, because this daily sales summary will also create a daily journal entry for the accounting team. Now, how all of this will start tying into utilizing our forecast, this is another advancement that we've made in the last few months, is an updated forecasting view. This updated forecasting view now allows you to look at your forecast on a weekly basis, and you can build out your forecast weeks in advance. But on a daily level, when we're looking at this forecast, we can see our projected net sales based on the projection model you've opted to utilize, what the total sales forecast is inclusive of any adjustments, and how that ties into your labor forecast. So we're able to pair what we call a labor matrix with your anticipated sales on any given day to provide that labor forecast, which will tie into scheduling. One of the other changes that we've made to forecasting is allowing you to review those projection dates. So if you do want to see how our 365 was able to calculate your projected net sales on any given day, you can see exactly what days were incorporated in that forecast. If you have tagged a specific event, maybe you had a buyout, you had to close for maintenance, you can dictate, do we want to include this day in our forecast or do we want to omit it? Another component that we have added as part of our forecast to take into consideration feedback from brands like IHOP and in the QSR and full service space is being able to incorporate forecasting rules. So if there are certain times of year, thinking of our pancake of the month, or if you again have kind of a seasonal promotion or it is pancake day and we're doing free pancakes, you want to adjust your forecast to anticipate those projections. So it can be the same time each year, same date each year, where you are adjusting your forecast to match those specific promotions or again events that you know are coming. The last piece that I'll mention on forecasting, as this will tie into scheduling, which I'll show shortly, is on a daily level. You can actually go in on a daily basis and see that forecast broken out based on the hour, 30, or 15-minute level. This will coincide with the ability to build the forecast at a more granular level, but again, taking down to that visibility based on day part, hour, and giving you insight into how your forecast will also impact your labor forecast from a visual standpoint. Now, all of this will tie into scheduling, as I mentioned. When you are going in and building out your schedule, you'll have the ability to see on any given day what are my forecasted sales projections, and that'll be our top number here. And then what are our labor projections on any given day. The intention behind this is to build an optimal schedule based on your anticipated sales and that labor matrix that I described, which will showcase how you want to incrementally increase your labor hours based again on how your sales are anticipated to adjust throughout the day, and all to ensure that we're not overscheduling, or that if we are needing to incorporate any additional hours, you are aware that this may be outside your, your optimal schedule that is being suggested by the system. Now, outside of some of the updates that we've seen from a forecast and scheduling perspective, thinking of things on the inventory side and how all of this will tie into accounting as well. From the inventory aspects of our platform, we'll start with the creation of templates. And the goal behind this, again, thinking of our task management, is how do we ensure that every location is operating in the same rhythm and completing things in the same way? And that will start with the creation of templates. And we'll see this either whether it's scheduling, ordering, but these templates will allow you to identify the different storage locations or areas where you are storing your items, and then the order at which you want them to be counted. So within our produce cooler, we'll have the different items that we're counting, and you can easily go in, create a single template, and replicate this across all stores. The reason why I mention this template is this also allows you to indicate if you want this inventory count to be GL posting, essentially indicating that as your team on the operation side is taking inventory either weekly or at the end of the period, or again, however often you'd like to take inventory, you can indicate which of those counts are actually going to create an associated journal entry for the accounting team. So you're not having to move data between two systems. Having that single system allows you to ensure that as the operations team, as Diogo mentioned, is doing all of their activities, it does have an accounting implication, and we're auto recording that, whether it is the inventory count, transfers, waste, again, ensuring that that is reflecting in your financials appropriately. Now, from an inventory perspective, we are able to offer a mobile inventory, and that will allow the team, as I mentioned, to have that mobile app. It is free to download, whether it is an iPhone or Android device. That mobile app will allow you to see on the fly alerts at the top here whether you have entered in an inventory count that is less than half than your last inventory, twice as much, or zero, and you should have entered in more. And these are ways to, again, ensure that as the team is taking inventory, you have visibility into potential issues. The last aerial that I'll mention here is also an offline mode. If the team is going into the walk-in cooler to count their items, they will likely lose Wi-Fi. As soon as you reconnect to Wi-Fi, we have already stored all of that count data and will sync back to the active count within the system. And so all of the components that we're touching on, at least from an update standpoint, as well as different operational tools, are designed to make all of these day-to-day processes that the managers are completing more efficient, but also ensure that you're able to get more real-time reporting, since everything that we're recording on operations, again, is tying back to data from the accounting side as well. Now, once we've completed inventory, being able to order and record invoices is part of the platform as well. And so we'll see both ordering and invoices here. I'll utilize this as a segue to talk about our invoice lifecycle. Now, directly within the platform, again, whether this is accounting or operations, we'll have the ability to incorporate invoices into the system. As Diogo mentioned, we work with over hundreds of vendors to incorporate invoices with line item detail within the platform. The intention behind this is first to accommodate that from an operations standpoint to ensure that those items are being added to inventory. We're updating prices accordingly, but this is also to allow the accounting team to manage the entire AP lifecycle. Now within the tool, we'll have our documents queue here, and this is essentially a document repository. What this will do is allow your team to upload images directly into the platform of any invoices they're receiving, whether it's a paper copy, they're utilizing the mobile app to take a picture of that invoice, or going in and uploading that, whether it is a PDF or we can email them in directly to the platform as well. Now, once those invoices are in the system, these are outside of those direct integrations. We'll be able to directly code those invoices with the invoice processing services we offer. Once those invoices are reviewed and are in the awaiting approval stage, that is where your team can dictate, do we want to have steps of approval based on invoice amount or vendor, or do we want to give our accounting team permission to go ahead and approve these, again, based on what you determine as protocol within the organization. Now, once those invoices have been reviewed, they will move into the ready for payment. Now, from this screen, you can go ahead and initiate payments from the platform, whether it is a check or download an ACH file, but an added automation to create efficiency that we have in place is our payment solution. This essentially indicates that as you are creating payments in the system, you are allowing R365 to, once you've identified who you're paying, submit those payments on your behalf. R365 can initiate checks, ACH, as well as a virtual card component that will have a rebate tied to it. Again, thinking of optimal efficiency for your accounting team, this adds in layers of automation to just ensure that that AP lifecycle is as efficient as possible. Now, outside of the AP, so we've talked about kind of the operations components, how this will tie into AP. I also wanted to briefly mention our custom financial report writer. Outside of the reports that we offer, so within our 365, we will have over 250 pre-built reports. We also have a custom financial report writer that will allow you to tailor any of those reports to your formatting specifications. If you are already familiar with some of our reports, I'll showcase a few and then some of, again, the improvements we've made from a reporting standpoint as it pertains to our integration with Tray. The first report that I've pulled up here is our location side-by-side report. As I've mentioned, from a entity and location setup, we're able to incorporate multiple entities and associate those to corresponding locations. But something to keep in mind as well is you're able to set up different reporting categories. So in this case, I am filtering by location, but if I wanted to create custom reporting categories based on group, maybe I have a district manager or multiple district managers that I want to segment my locations by, or multiple brands, you have the ability to go in and tailor your reporting categories, again, to ensure that you can filter your reports as efficiently as possible. Now, once you've made that designation, in this case, as I mentioned, we're looking at location side by side. I'm comparing 3 locations as they compare to one another. Now, about 3/4 of this report is being built out through the utilization of the integrations we have in place. The sales data, as we described earlier, is coming through that direct connection with Tray, and that allows us to take all of that data from the point of sale, map it back to your desired GL accounts, and as we described, create that automated journal entry, which will reflect on your financials. The cost of goods information, we discussed being able to incorporate the invoices as well as any of those inventory counts to always reflect the most up-to-date information from a cost of goods perspective. And then lastly, any labor details that we're able to gather from the point of sale, including total hours worked and pay rates, will tie into what we reference as a labor accrual. So even if you haven't run payroll within the 2-week pay period, we still have that accrual showcasing what the labor estimates are, inclusive any payroll tax, or again, a fully burdened labor number, and have that accrual in place. So as your team members, whether this is above store or in store, are running reports on sales and labor, they will have an idea of exactly how they're tracking. Now, within each of these reports, let's say you are reviewing sales comparisons or purchase comparisons across 3 locations, but you do have questions on a single store, you can click into this value and it will pull what we call a GL account detail report. Now, this detailed report will provide insight to every single transaction that is supporting that value. So whether it is, again, an individual purchase, a credit memo, you will see exactly where that number is stemming from on the P&L. Then if you do have questions, you can continue to drill down into the individual transaction itself. Now, this is simply one view of the profit and loss when we're thinking of those location side-by-side comparisons, but we do have over 20 different views of the profit and loss. And so I'll showcase some of the options that we have here. We have things where we can compare period versus budget. Maybe you want to compare against forecast. Outside of just a forecasting module, we will have the budgeting element included that allows you to either build or upload your existing budget for financial comparisons. And I'll showcase a sample of what that looks like in this specific report. Now, this is our operation statement and is geared towards this in-store level team members. Now, so anyone is who is operating a store, you may not want them to see a fully baked out P&L, but you do want them to see more summary level. So when we are looking at this specific view, we can go ahead and tailor it to more of a summary view that provides comprehensive numbers, again, as opposed to a full P&L. Now, within this, they are able to see how they are trending across each week as we are leading up to the end of the period. To Diogo's point earlier, we want to create a more proactive environment as opposed to reactive. So, the intention with this report here is to give visibility into how we are progressing across each week as we are leading up to the end of the period. If there are opportunities to compare against budget and you have a budget in place, that's where we're able to upload the budget, utilize it for reporting purposes, and as a manager or store operator, I can see how have my purchasing habits, sales, anything that you are budgeting against compare to what the budget is for any given period, and are there opportunities for me to take action to ensure that I'm aligning to this, or are we too far gone? And again, we're kind of thinking of taking that more proactive approach for the following week. And so these are ways where we can start engaging the store operator to say, we have the data. We're creating the efficiencies for both the daily tasks on accounting and operations. How do we tie all of that together in a way where you can utilize reporting from a coaching perspective? Now, one other report that I wanted to showcase outside of the profit and loss, which is usually the primary report that we get asked about, is one that is not often asked about. And what I wanted to showcase today is the advanced sales and labor report. There are several data points within this report, but essentially wanting to showcase here that we are able to compare multi-location performance, both from a sales and labor perspective. The reason why I wanted to showcase this report is it also has the opportunity to include scheduled versus actual variances as well as forecasted information. So if you're wanting to see how you are performing, both are we forecasting appropriately? How are we scheduling against that forecast? And where are there opportunities to hone in on labor? This is another great report that you may not be running today that does have a lot of information that you can utilize to better understand how you can further fine tune your overall labor performance and again, truly hone in on labor cost. Now, one last area outside of the canned reports that we offer that I will touch on here is our ability to now incorporate dashboard reporting. So within R365, we have developed what we call R365 Intelligence, and this will give you access to several pre-built dashboards that we have in place. When I mentioned that we have continued to progress our relationship with Trey, that has allowed us to offer what we reference as intraday polling. Intraday polling pulls sales and labor information every 15 minutes. And within our dashboards here, we have one specifically called our intraday dashboard. This one is already formatted, but throughout the current day, again, thinking of someone who may be managing a single store, or for those on the call, you are all multi-unit operators, you want to see how all of your stores are progressing throughout the current day, both from a sales and labor standpoint. In this specific view, we have a few locations that we are comparing from a concept standpoint, but again, this could be based on region, manager, and however you'd like to segment your locations. This is showing overall sales here in these first two visualizations, and we've ranked the stores to show who has the highest sales versus the lowest sales. But then we have the ability to break down that information based on the hour interval, 15 or 30 minute, again, depending on what the preferred view is, but with the intention that this is, again, being updated every 15 minutes as we're pulling that data from Trey. Now we're looking at overall gross sales broken out by the hour. Each color here indicates a different location, but we're also looking at overall actual versus scheduled labor intervals. So this gives you, again, the full insight into how are our sales and labor progressing throughout the current day, rounding out these visualizations with being able to calculate sales per labor hour and showcase how that is changing over time. The last item here, this isn't populated because we haven't run into overtime today, but if you were to run into overtime, again, every 15 minutes, we'd be able to alert you how that overtime is tracking, which employee it's attributed to, and which store. So if you do need to take any action there, you'll have insight into how that is progressing throughout the current day. Now, outside of kind of the reports that we touched on, before I round it out, I wanted to maybe see if there are any questions from the group here. We're going to save time for questions as well, but wanted to take a moment before I stop sharing if there was any product-specific questions that I could answer for the team.
Let me look at the box. Um, let's see. Okay, I have one right here. Let's see. How does Restaurant 365 handle seasonal fluctuations in revenue and expenses? Can I adjust budgets dynamically based on changing sales trends?
Yeah, absolutely. So within R365, as I mentioned, we will have a full budgeting module. And so what that allows you to do within the platform is first establish a budget, and you can indicate which budget will actually be a reporting budget. So if there are certain trends you're seeing and you want to first validate that you have a budget in place, but then mid-period you want to go in and adjust said budget, you can look at overall trends based on the current year or prior year and then make your adjustments accordingly. So if I double click into this, it'll show me my overall historical progress over time, how that pertains to how I'm building out my budget. And then if you are seeing any trends, whether that's maybe a percentage increase or decrease, you can make those budget adjustments accordingly. And then again, reflect that on a reporting budget element, which each store can also have different budgets. And so if you see trends across a different area or time frame and those impact certain stores, then you can adjust each store's budget accordingly.
Perfect. Let's see if any others come in. I think that's it for now.
Okay, then I will go ahead and pick back up where we left off from our slide presentation and go ahead and pass it to yourself, Diego.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Brianna. That's why we have her on. She's the product expert and knows it inside and out. I could not have done that, so I appreciate it. Well, to wrap things up, I think at the end of the day, like I mentioned, the goal is to impact your bottom line, and we can do that through all sorts of different ways, whether that's time, that's actual dollars, if it's labor or food. But we want to sell a product that is going to make your business more profitable at the end of the day. And we can do that by being able to track all this data more efficiently, putting in the hands of your savvy operators so that they can have better eyes on your business and not let anything slip through the cracks. So at the end of the day, there is a return on investment, right? This is an investment, it is a product, there's a cost, but when it's implemented correctly and you have buy-in from your team, it's something that will be a benefit to your business in the long run and will help you scale faster. A lot of restaurants are looking for growth, and as the complexity goes on with more stores or varying brands, like Brianna said, with a dual brand location or whatever that may be, the return on investment is definitely there. On top of accounting, just to round things out, we offer a complete system for you. So obviously, accounting and operations are our core products, and we know that we can measure those returns for you. But there are other areas of products that we can offer as well. So just to offer just a little bit of snippet, so that if you guys want to talk to us about adding and doubling down on your partnership with us, we have employee training. So it's called Expand Share, which is an amazing platform to help with compliance and help your team members to follow your standards more closely. We have dispute management, right? Third party delivery is such a huge part of the business nowadays. So it can be very time consuming. So we have a product that can help you get some of the money back from some of these returns and disputes. And we also have, it's not listed here, we also have an amazing payroll option now that is fully integrated with our system. And so we're able to impact more and more areas of the business as we grow and partner together. So lastly, if you are interested in continuing the conversation or have a one-on-one with us, you can scan this QR code. It'll take you to an IHOP specific landing page where you can fill in your information. Somebody can reach out to you and schedule a call either with myself or others on my team that work with IHOP, so we can really dive into your specific struggles and see what areas or which products in our ecosystem will be most beneficial to you. Again, thank you so much for your time. We can leave time for Q&As and see if there are any other questions that we can answer today for you. But this will be recorded, so we can send this out if needed, along with the slide deck that kind of summarizes a lot of what Brianna showed you on the product side to reference side by side. Okay, so if you have any questions, put it in the Q&A chat, and we can go over a few of those right now before allowing everybody to get back to their day. Let's see. Oh, here's a good one. What kind of support and training does Restaurant 365 offer during and after the initial setup? How do you ensure that my team is fully equipped to use the platform effectively? I can take that one. Restaurant365 is a software. You need people utilizing it, right? So we are fully invested in the implementation process and then post-sale process to make sure that you're successful, right? If your team isn't bought in, isn't utilizing this correctly, it's not going to maximize that ROI that we talked about, right? So we have a full playbook of implementation. Depending on the product that you buy, you'll have a product-specific coach that will work with you. We will have a kickoff call with you. It'll be closely monitored, usually weekly meetings or twice a week, really depending on the aggressiveness that your team is able to accommodate or how fast you want things to be done. You'll have a customer success manager. His name is Brian. He works with all of our current IHOP customers, so a lot of knowledge, right, cross-functionally within our current customer base and what other issues we need to solve and improve on. We meet with, for example, with Trey on a weekly basis to make sure we're upkeeping our integration and solving any issues that may come up. So it's not perfect, right? But at the end of the day, we do invest the time and the people resources into your success, and we're always there to continue that partnership. So meetings can always be on the table, and we can keep a close eye on things, especially as maybe there's leadership turnover or anything like that. So let's see. Next question. How quick, let's see, I have a question here. How quick is workforce getting improved and developed? It is great, but does not have all the options or enough options and customization. Do you have an idea, Brianna, on the workforce side of the product?
Yeah, so I will say, as we continue to expand our workforce offering, thinking of our own development resources, the same level of effort that we have in our relationship with Trey, we have an entire, development team dedicated to working on the improvement of our workforce platform. And so certainly something we can probably discuss at more length offline, but I will say we have continued to invest efforts, and that has been a huge focus of our development efforts this year overall.
Perfect. Let's see, one more here. Can 365 help us track and compare performance across multiple locations? Can we drill down to individual store level details for insight? I think you went over some of that, but maybe just
Yeah,
answer that a little bit
absolutely.
more in depth.
Absolutely. So with the structure that we have in place that we kind of discussed through the presentation, multiple entities and locations, that allows you to have different layers of reporting. So when we looked at the profit and loss, being able to compare across 3 stores, but even day-to-day flash reports where we're comparing sales and labor, it allows for you to look at cross-location comparisons, have that drill down flexibility, and even in the dashboard reporting when we were looking at intelligence. That was already a formatted dashboard, but you'll have the ability to customize those views. So if there are certain ways that you want to segment the, operational data or GL level detail information, we'll have that flexibility both in the core reporting, that custom financial report writer we discussed, and then the intelligence, depending again on what the needs are from a reporting side of things.
Perfect. I have a couple of cost questions here, and those vary. We can take that on a one-to-one basis, depending on location count, how many products you're buying, length. There's a lot of variability when it comes to cost, but at the end, they were committed to giving you the best cost possible. But one of the questions does have a follow-up. It's asked about the task management, if that
Mhm.
includes the IHOP custom temp log.
Yes, I believe so. So when I was looking at the template that we created, there was I think it's called the extended temp log, and that has been built in from a form perspective. When we saw kind of I think it was closing checklist, we also have built in the extended temp log that is part of that kind of daily routine as well.
Okay, perfect. Um, and we are reaching the 40-minute mark, so I don't see any other questions pop up, but if anybody has anything else, drop it in the Q&A chat and we'll make sure to get you an answer. And while you're typing, and if not, like I said, we are readily available. So if you want to schedule a one-on-one chat, scan the QR code, we can be in touch with you. Um, and we're going to be at most of the events this year. BRFA coming up, we'll be there. Obviously, GFC later on will be there. So we'll make sure to connect with you as best as possible. And we're continually looking for more opportunities to support the IHOP brand, and be strong partners and to help franchisees grow. I don't see any other questions pop up, so um, I think that's everything, guys. Appreciate your time. Anything else, Brianna, from your end, do you think would be
No, I just thank you all for attending today and appreciate your time.
perfect? Well, thank you so much, everybody. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I know running restaurants is not easy, so hang in there, and we're here as an option to help you improve your business. Take care.